Selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
As easy as pie?
Sure. All you have to do is enter your license plate or VIN.
As easy as a stroll in the park.
Okay, then just answer a few questions and you'll get a real offer in seconds.
As easy as singing.
Why not? Schedule a pickup or drop-off and Carvana will pay you that amount right on the spot.
As easy as playing guitar.
Actually, I find that kind of difficult. But selling your car to Carvana is as easy as...
Can be.
Visit Carvana.com or download the app to get an instant offer today.
Oh, man. Good evening. Feels good to be combing through all this old stuff. Try to see exactly what sort of things I can get on sale. After all, we're in that medium point between Christmas and New Year's. None of these deals look any good. But I gotta go ahead and get things in store and in shape for 2019. Because guess what, folks? Welcome to the J-Man Show here on
J360 Radio.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, oh, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Hey, what's happening, J360 Legion? Welcome to episode 80 here on the J-Man Show. Here on J360 Radio, to be honest with you. Yeah, just when you all thought that there wasn't going to be a new episode today. Well, turns out there is. It was just going to be late. I forgot I had to go into the day job, and I just wasn't feeling it. But hey, after a few things get taken care of this upcoming year, things are going to be looking pretty solid. Probably won't even have to go back, you know what I'm saying? I got plans. Big goals, big dreams, just like all of you do out there. It's just, it's the motivation to get there and get things done, right? It's never the idea that when New Year's roll around that you automatically have to do something. But, you don't want to be mundane and you don't want to be in the same spot forever. So you want to go ahead and do what you got to do. Which is why 2018 was such an eye-opener for some people. And, to be honest with you, despite all of the years that came out in this decade, I gotta say 2018 wasn't that bad. 2016 was toxic. 2017 was... But 2018 wasn't really that bad. Mostly because a lot of the weird stuff that happened in 2018 that benefited no one. I mean, hey, before y'all get at me about these things, I'm not going to go that in-depth with it like everybody else has done with their year in reviews. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Not to mention that I'm going to run it on E right now. So we're going to talk about what, certain scenarios that have happened. Like, this is not a bash Trump episode. I mean, sure, he's a con in general. We'll just say that, get that out of the way. I didn't care for the way he acted, but I did see a lot of meltdowns that happened from him in 2018, according to Now, too, with this partial shutdown that he's doing just so he can get that funding for this border wall that doesn't benefit anyone either. It's just ridiculous. The whole thing is stupid. I mean, it's feasible, the fact that he had prototypes over there that aren't doing too well, but I mean, they didn't fall over anything. I mean, in a way, that's partially a wall, right? So, sometimes some ideas that you do, you'll be remembered for, but then there are other ideas that you make that won't come to fruition. I mean, as a creator, I know that kind of stuff because, hell, I had a short film in the works that just didn't fall through right, and, it fell flat. It wasn't the best, but, I don't stop writing because of that. I go ahead and I work on something else. Really benefit the country you represent. But even though I said it's not a Trump episode, I went ahead and spoke about him, right? Just to get it out of the way. Yeah, so that whole thing with people getting fired and walking away from the administration, that whole thing is just, I never thought I'd see it in my day, but it turns out that, yeah, that's the world we live in. But outside of the political game, I gotta admit some of the entertainment factors have been doing pretty good for us. Like Infinity War. One of the most anticipated movies of all time came into our lives. And boy, wasn't it an eye-opener? It changed everything in the MCU landscape. Now, whereas we all just were coming off that ride when Black Panther came into the theaters, which it's a battle between which one of those movies, even though they take place in the same universe, is the topper of the year. I would like to say Black Panther would be, because, the barriers it broke. And not to mention everything that followed it, you know what I'm saying? Now, you can say that the hype kind of died down a little bit. Not entirely. People were very pissed off that he faded away at the end of Infinity War, I know that much. But you also had a great sector of seasons that came throughout the MCU Netflix shows, too. Jessica Jones is alright. But the Luke Cage season and the Iron Fist season were actually pretty damn good. Now, we're never getting no resolution to any of those. But, the cancellations that come, wiped it all out. And then, of course, you got Daredevil's. Oh, Daredevil had a phenomenal season. I'm just going ahead and going through all these comic book things, so if you're expecting a format on this, sorry for your loss. But, yeah, Daredevil had a pretty damn good season, too. And all of those things were leading to something, and we'll never get a resolution to it because of the cancellation. And then comes the little side joke at the end where they can't even use the characters until, 2021, something like that? It's like, oh man. I sure hope the actors that portray the characters are willing to come back around that time to go ahead and play those roles, you know what I'm saying? No word on Jessica Jones being canceled, but it's coming. And, of course, you have whatever they're going to do for that Disney streaming thing, but that's 2019 crap, so we'll worry about that later. But, yeah, so, it's like I said, it wasn't too bad in terms of entertainment. A big shocker and a great loss to all of us is the passing of Stan Lee. And at least it was for me. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. But the man was 95, and he did a lot for us here. And there's always going to be records to show of what he's made for us. Today's his birthday, too. So shout out to the man himself. It's just, whew. It was an eye-opener this year. And then, of course, the new Spider-Man game came out. Which, I'm probably going to get flack for this, but the stuff that Peter went through in that game just washes all of the sins of the Amazing Spider-Man series away. I don't even care about that stuff anymore, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were trying so hard to build a universe. The Spider-Verse movie, too. That could wipe out all that as well, but that game alone was just action-packed. Sure, it took a while for the villains to finally show up around, the third act of the game. But when they broke out of the raft and they just were beating Spider-Man's ass, and you saw the Sinister Six, even though it's not the group that we're all used to because, Mysterio wasn't there, Kraven the Hunter wasn't there, you know what I mean. The original lineup wasn't there, but that lineup alone was very formidable and had Spidey on the ropes. And I was like, yeah, this is what I want to see. And then the gangs broke out of Rikers and the raft and just took over New York. Turned it into a war zone. That was so beautiful. That's what I like. I like seeing moments like that. Something to give you that edge to fight for. And then you're like, oh man, so this is what happens now. And with all that going on, you don't see no sign of the Avengers or anybody coming in there to just try to clean things up. But then again, usually when stuff happens to Spider-Man, the Avengers or the FF are out of town, and you know how that goes. But all in all, as I was playing it, I felt the joys, the highs and the lows. Hell, that game alone is at the top of my 2018 list. Because a lot of people say Red Dead Redemption, and Red Dead Redemption is a damn good game. It was amazing that we managed to get a second one. But the Spider-Man stuff, man, keeps me whole. I like that, Another game that I was happy to see finally get some appreciation of sorts was Shenmue. Shenmue finally got released, 1 and 2, after so many years of talking about it. It finally got released, or re-released. And I'm sitting there just enjoying the hell out of it. Other people are mad because of the ability to play the game. Sometimes the controls are, ridiculous. I like the ending sequence. The ending sequence of the first one where it's like, there's no power in your arms. And it's like, yeah. I'm doing the moves on the controller. How come the moves are not happening on screen, huh? And you keep doing it for a while? Well, that's because that game was made for Dreamcast back in the day, and if you remember how obtuse the Dreamcast controller was, yeah, pretty much. You can get away with it doing it on that, but when you're doing it on the PlayStation 4 controller, you're like, what the you know what I'm saying? Hey, I didn't say it. I said, you see what I'm saying? Oh, which, by the way, some news came out today, and this is a little off topic. Some news came out today about Grover dropping the F-bomb on Sesame Street, and it's got a bunch of moral guardians and liberals anuses puckering and stuff like that, to the point where they're all sitting there complaining and everything else because he's such a central character to Sesame Street, and he finally dropped the F-bomb allegedly. Now, the weirdest thing about that is I'm laughing, and I'm nowhere near as outraged by anybody because, I haven't seen Sesame Street religiously in years, and not only that, but I don't have any kids. You know what I mean? So it's like, it doesn't faze me that much. It makes me laugh because the Happy Time Murders came out too, which is on my list of underrated films. Because everybody thinks that puppets are supposed to be there just to entertain kids. No, puppets, much like animated features, have every right to be as raw and gritty as they want to be. You just have a problem with it because in your mind you think, oh, these are just for children and yada, 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 yada. You know what I'm saying? Not you as the J360 Legion listening to this, but, all those other moral guardian kind of people. I would love to see another movie like the Happy Time Murders being made. For real. But, you can only do so much because, the movie came out in August, right? Yeah, it was like the anchor film for the summer blockbuster stuff where it all dies down. We're all either getting ready for football or we're all getting ready for school or college or any place. So at the end of the day, none of us are really caring about what comes out in August. Unless you're like a big money maker or something from... Now, when was DC Universe announced? Which, by the way, that's been going pretty well, too. The Titan show is phenomenal. And soon enough, Doom Patrol is going to be in our lives, too. And I think those heroes deserve it. But what really gets my attention, though, is Swamp Thing. So once Swamp Thing enters the arena, then they'll get more of my money. I am going to be so broke in 2019. Well, sort of. But... yeah, man, it's been pretty swell as far as this year's been going in terms of content, in terms of new things that are coming out here for us to keep us, away from all the horrors of the real world somewhat. Oh, and not to mention, I pretty much did something pretty successful too. J360 Radio came up in the ratings. We're nowhere near winning those awards where we're like best podcast of the week and crap. I hope we achieve some of those things, but, at the end of the day, we kind of been doing things our own way. It's just like, as long as we got a message, we're going to tell it. If you want to give us awards, you want to nominate us, that's cool. Let me know about it, whether you want to nominate the Cyclone, or you want to nominate the J-Man Show, or any of our special products, or J360 Radio Live, which I think, was kind of the miss for 2018 for us. Because that was something that we were supposed to lay out for you all. But hey, we got a new year on the horizon, right? So, there you go. Doesn't really faze me much. But yeah, I managed to get my straight A's, and I'm on my way to other areas and a bigger tax bracket. Feels good to be college educated. Hey, it does matter, y'all. So if any of y'all are struggling in school, try to figure out a way to work with that. Go ahead and get in touch with a tutor. Like, break away from certain things that distract you so you can go ahead and, aim as high as you can. Because there's a reason why the Power Play series didn't come together like I wanted it to, And I told you all about that. You're all going to get that a little bit later anyway, because, hey, once the studying comes in, one way or another, do the show, do the studying, or give up the show and just do too much studying. I just can't do that to y'all. So, that's just the way it goes. There's a reason why I haven't been on the Cyclone series as much as I like to. Another thing speaking of the Cyclone series, I will say this. I do not care for the NFL season this year. Something about it has been weird. And this is not because of how bad the Eagles were playing. No. Like I say, rain or shine, the Eagles will always be my team. I will never jump ship from that team because I spent so many years, saying fly, Eagles, fly, bleeding green. And those are my birds, man. I'm supporting the birds no matter what. So, just because the Cowboys look good, and they only look good because everybody else looks bad, doesn't mean I'm going to jump ship over there. I'm glad a lot of you bandwagoner fans are not a part of the whole Eagles parade right now. I'm glad about that. I'm glad y'all are gone. But a lot of people have forgotten, and I forgot to mention this on the Cyclone episodes last time I was there, is that it's not even the same team. Like, we don't have all of our people back. We don't even have the same offensive coordinator. It's Mike Rawls offensive coordinating. It's not Frank Reeks. So it's like when you really think about it from time to time, you got to know who's involved in what scenario. And he was a wide receiving coordinator before he got the offensive coordinator job. So if you want to be mad at Mike Graw all you want to, that's your whole thing. If you want to leave the whole Philadelphia Eagles fandom, that's your bag. But the thing about it is, don't expect to be welcomed with open arms when we start winning again, especially if it happens the season after this one. And not only that, we're not the Raiders. The Raiders have really fallen apart. I'm hoping that San Francisco gets back up on where they need to be because, Garoppolo being out, but everybody's sitting there talking about, Carson Wentz is accident prone and all that stuff. He's not Sam Bradford yet. So hold that in, okay? And while there's a lot of technicalities and all this other stuff holding us back right now because we have to depend on the Vikings to lose for us to have our playoff chance, you know what I'm saying? I'm glad my boys are starting to get something together. They waited a little late, but I'm like, you know what? Maybe there's a sign for next year's advantage. But either way, we're number 2 in our division. We're not number 3, and we darn sure aren't number 4, so I'm not mad at my birds too much, and I will always support them. But in 2018, thinking about it, it wasn't a real good season to talk about in terms of that. Now, other things in this season have been unique when it comes to the Cleveland Browns. Those guys have came on. And granted, they're not going to go ahead and they're not going to be in the playoffs, but the least they can do is go ahead and wipe the floor with the team that pretty much destroyed them the first time in terms of legacy, the Baltimore Ravens. There's a lot of heat there. And I'm sure I'm going to get it from my old man about this because he's a Ravens fan. But it's true now. Nobody expected Cleveland to have such a good season after a lackluster couple of seasons. And then if you want to go even further than that, that team's been tossed around many more times. Probably more than we have. So, I got to give them that. But, like I said, looking at this season, though, I was excited for it. But then there were times where it's just been so convoluted and weird. And I don't like the idea that Dallas got the division first place. It's like, come on, really? But at least Roger Goodell has been behaving himself and not trying to make it the no-fun league. So, there's that. Soon enough, there's supposed to be some competition regarding football, too. Isn't there supposed to be like a summer league going on along with XFL and all that kind of stuff? Like, there's other leagues forming out there, too, but that's more of a 2020 kind of conversation. But keeping it in 2018, I didn't really care for the football season that much this year, But hey, I got high hopes. I mean, maybe it'll be one hell of a show, and maybe we'll get a Super Bowl with 2 different teams, and probably won't have to worry about it. Like, I don't want to see the Pats go, but at the same time, I kind of know, you know what I'm saying? They still have a shot to make it in. So it's debatable on who it's going to be. I just hope it's another good show like last year for the Super Bowl. But you got to keep moving forward here. As for my straight A's, I mean, hell, I made Dean's List again, so I'm on top of the world. And it shows, because the money I'm getting right now, I'm about to go ahead and splurge it on some new stuff here, so I can go ahead and make J360 TV. Which is, once again, me putting the cart before the horse. So let me put the, you know what I mean. Let me go ahead and refix what I was trying to say here. Okay. And there's a bunch of other movies, too, that came out this year. Like, during the holiday season, I worked too much. So I didn't really see too much of what I wanted to see. I didn't care to see the new Grinch film. I didn't really care to see... There was one movie that was called Bird Box. Everybody's talking about Bird Box right now. So I want to see that. I want to go ahead and talk about that a little bit. Not this episode, but... Oh, yeah. That should have been a shoe-in for the Monster Fest. Well, I can talk about that next year then. Yeah, the Monster Fest wasn't too bad this year. I mean, I wanted to go ahead and give you a little bit more horror intakes and stuff like that. But I wanted to talk about the mythology and the psychology of things this time. Next year, however, we're going to heat it up a little bit. And who knows, you probably get some more visuals with that one. I would like to say so anyway. And then, of course, we have for the other side of 2018... Other than the crazy fluctuations and Saturday Night Live still being as funny as can be, everything else has just been pretty smooth. Oh yeah, and the other podcast friends out there that I've met, a lot of y'all have some excellent shows, and I want to give a shout out to anybody that collaborated with us in J360 Radio, for all your help and everything else. You help us grow, we help you grow, and Yes, I've said this before, but at least now I know that it's going to happen. There's going to be more collaborations in 2019. And I'm going to be opening the doors, so I'm going to let you all know this. You guys go ahead and let me know something by Friday. Alright, let me know something by Friday at, say, 12 o'clock p.m. That's when you guys usually get the FF parties going. So... let me know something every Friday at 12 p.m. so I can book you guys in so we can go ahead and start doing collaborations. And that'll be the next level. And the point is, I would like to do them live. Recording is great, but I like to go ahead and perform all of us talking live and having a good time from here or there. And pay attention to the... Oh, well, how you like that? Somebody's playing with the internet out there because my app just said Wi-Fi disconnect. It is what it is, y'all. We're still going to keep pushing through on this. But, just letting you guys know. 2019 is going to be a pretty big year because 2018 was so much fun. The only problem with 2019 is wintertime again. It's going to be cold as balls out there like it was today. I saw the frost on my car and I said this. I said, oh no. I am not ready for this right now. Hopefully in February that damn groundhog will get out. And he won't see anything, so we can just ease right into spring and summer. Now, of course, you want to have a good winter so you can have a great summer, but I'm sorry, y'all. I just, this time, I wanted to just go right into it, you know what I mean? No teasing, no, hey, it's hot one minute, then it's cold the next minute, and then one way or another you get that sickness because your body doesn't know how to adapt to either one. I wanted to be actually pretty simple for us, but it's never that way, is it? Nah. Matter of fact, we won't even know what the groundhog sees, and if you believe in that kind of stuff, which I just go there, go along with it because of the festivities, and it seems like it's pretty fun. One day I'm just going to go to Potsatani and just sit there and see what he does and be like, you better make this good, Phil. You better make this good. That's not the right answer, Phil. And then I start chasing the groundhog around and say, you son of a... You could have made it spring again. Yeah, but it is what it is. You can't control the weather, thank goodness, because some people are ignorant enough to leave the snow off. And it's not just snow that's the problem. It's usually when you drive through the ice. And I can't stand that. But, yeah, I got hopes for 2019. I think it's going to go by quick. I think one way or another, hopefully, whoever we got in office, because remember, things fluctuate all the time. Hopefully the good Trump will come out and actually do the right thing. Though at the end of the day, if I'm a betting man on this, I probably am flat broke at that point. Because, lepers don't change their spots. So you hope that a lot of things go the right way. I hope that a lot of spoiled, entitled people that walk around out here that think that everything's supposed to go their way and, like easily offended people will finally shut up and realize that they're not going to get it their way no matter how many times they complain and stuff. And that people start manning up for 2019. That people start realizing, you got to give a little bit to the particulars of things. You got to go ahead, you got to be like, you know what? Yeah, I have my way of living, but at the same time, it's not always about me. I'm the hero of another story. Or I'm just a cog in a wheel. Or at the end of the day, this place is just dysfunctional, and I just don't want to go along with the flow. So at the end of the day, I'm on limited time. Let me just get my money so I can leave. You know what I'm saying? You can't fix everything, and you can't expect everybody, to win, expect everybody to fall in line with you. And a lot of people are barely learning that now. They're in like their 40s and 50s. It is a ridiculous time for people to start acting like giant babies. Yeah, world leaders out there that don't know what they're doing. You got people that aren't taking responsibility for their own actions. Oh, they want to change yours, don't get me wrong. They want to change anybody else's, but they're not going to clean up their own stink. I hope 2019 people actually start doing that. I hope, all that crap where people start saying, oh, that's racist, oh, that's sexist, oh, that's rapist stuff, that's this and that. I hope they realize as many fingers as they point, they got 100 pointing back at them. So you try pointing it at the public, well, how many things going to come back to you? Exactly. So it's like, this echo chamber and about stuff ain't going to help nobody. Safe spaces are not going to help anybody. You got to get out there and fight for what you want. And it's not easy for me either, because there's times where this show runs late, along with the Cyclone running late. And I hope to change that. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the portable setup I got here. So, got a lot of things to look forward to. And the only thing I can do is just say, all right, well, it didn't work out this time. You're going to get it the day after. And if the day after don't work, you're going to get it. Either way, you will get a J360 Radio episode that week, right? So I've been good about that. And that's how you do. You got to man up. And I just wish other people would just learn how to do that. Accept each other's flaws. Accept each other's flaws a little bit. Because it depends on the flaw. If you're racist as hell, oh, yeah, can't tolerate that too much. Somebody's going to have to work on that and change themselves. Unless somebody drops some knowledge on them and they can't handle it. Like, why are you harassing me? I'm not harassing you. I just don't want to deal with your crap. You see what I'm saying? That's the difference. That kind of stuff shouldn't be thrown around at people and the public eye and all that kind of stuff. If you're at your own house and at your own leisure, do what the hell you want to do there. I don't care. I don't have no sort of thing. So no sort of frame of reference for me being there. I don't collect mail at your house, so what does it matter? But when you're out there in the public eye and all that kind of stuff, a little bit of carrying yourself better would work. But, PC culture, however, doesn't understand how to carry itself well, so I don't see how you can fall in line with that. And then, of course, when it comes to comedy, yeah, I'd like to go ahead and do some live comedy shows sometime. And as I'm at the live comedy show, I'm just a target like everybody else is a target. So it's like I don't want to see the person next to me being all offended because the comedian on stage just doesn't like the jacket you wear. You know what I mean? The hilarity about that. You've ever seen that? Where somebody's like, I'm offended. I hope to be apologized to at the end of the show. What? First off, I don't know you, but I know enough of you to realize that you're a pretentious jerk. And nobody should apologize to you. If anybody is deserving of an apology, it's everybody in this audience who had to stop, waste their money to listen to your stupid behind get on a soapbox for no reason. I'm here to listen to that jerk on stage. And if he's such a jerk or a bastard in honor of S. Anthony Thomas, I would say this. Yeah, you go ahead, sir. Yep, you got me. Oh, yeah, that's all you got? All right. Then you know what? I get to go on my own show, and I get to go ahead and give it right back to him because that's the way it is. Shoot, that's how you do that insulting stuff. And, you know, if anything, great comics and comedy writers, they size each other up on what exactly is being said. You know, and a person at work told me this. He said the classic days of, like, Eddie Murphy Raw and Richard Pryor comedy and lots of other kind of comics, like the context, like the grittiness, the raw and the real kind of stories are not there anymore because of PC culture. That's why PC culture need to die in 2019. Just a little bit. Like I said, respect for each other is one thing, but when you try to dictate, manipulate, and control other people, that's something else. And I just can't let comedy as the art form that it is, as something that, you know, helps me get through a rough time, and anybody else out here that just needs that laugh and that energy, just to come back to them, you know what I'm saying, as an escape. For me, comedy writing is an escape. And screenwriting and doing all sorts of world building for different concepts for films or even musics and everything else, that's an outlet for me and a business. But comedy writing has always been an outlet for me because guess what? I just want to take this scenario right here in the status quo that we sort of hold in regard here, and I want to make fun of it. Like an image of Calvin from Calvin and Hobbes pissing on the Dallas Cowboy logo, that's funny to me. You know what I'm saying? It might be offensive to other people, but that's funny to me because that's something that I probably would have done. And I look at Jerry Jones and say, beautiful, isn't it? And I'm wearing my Eagles jersey and stuff. Hell yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, wild absurdist comedy is great, man. Observational comedy, blue comedy, if you can handle it, is pretty good. Like, at the end of the day, when you hear people apologizing, like, the whole thing with Kevin Hart has just gotten muddy, man. You don't need, like, I remember trying to research on that stuff a little bit, and then I'm like, oh, this is because somebody digging up somebody else's tweets. This is just same thing with James Gunn, because people now realize you can make somebody lose their livelihood just by finding stuff from their past. Yeah, that's other parts of 2018 I didn't really care for. It's like, come on, man. Why? Because somebody didn't agree with what you had to say, so you had to go ahead and try to silence them that way by taking that from them? And there's been multiple cases of that throughout the new 10s. And it's so sad. Like, you know, I can only imagine as I get further and further in my career, or anybody else out there getting further in their career, the target on the back gets bigger because you've gotten more popular. But the thing about it is this. Now, even if you do something new, they'll always take that past and they want to throw it up at you. It could be satire. It could be you having a drunken rant. It could be a lot of different things. But then they'll go ahead and say, well, this is what happened. And is that what your company is all that? And you see, you got other brand creators out there. They eat, sleep, and breathe. Well, I shouldn't say sleep, because some of those people are too high strung to even think of sleeping. But they will defend that brand wholeheartedly, and they'll be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to let you go. I'm going to have to fire you for this. This is inexcusable. And you see, you can't even apologize to that mess because they ain't trying to hear that. So that's already a violation of somebody's civil rights because you won't give them a chance to speak. You won't give them a chance to go ahead and say where they were and what the whole time frame was. And people change in years to come. They're probably not that same person anymore. And at the same time, if it's acceptable to you, don't think that it's acceptable to somebody else. Especially if you're trying to drag their job into it. That is so ridiculous and so entitled of people to even think about that kind of stuff. And then when it turns around on you, now there's a problem, right? See what I'm saying? I hope that stuff dies down and gets thrown out of the rule book in 2019. I really do. But you see, the problem with social media, which is a full damn episode anyway, and I don't know if I've done it yet, but I'm probably sure I've touched base on it. people are so full of it these days too. It's just, that's what makes it hard for a lot of people to function in the world, because of the way people are and how they point fingers at and how they judge and all this stupid stuff. And it doesn't take much, because there is no defender for those kind of people. Well, till now. But it's so sad, man. And then when you sit there for a little bit, you look at all the stuff that companies like Disney did back in the day, and they got a lot of dirt with them too. Not to say that I don't like Disney, but I know Disney ain't 100% clean. Disney got some dirt underneath of it, just like the U.S. government does. And the truth is that, yeah, sure, we all turn a blind eye because we're at each other's throats right now. That's why the rich think they can get away with everything they want to get away with. If the Occupy movement was to do something right, they should have followed through on that instead of whatever the hell it became in the end. But you know what I'm saying? I don't want to reopen old wounds, because that's stuff way, way back in the time. But like I said, this whole thing about mining people's tweets and all this other stuff. Like, I remember I had a friend that overreacted over something I said to her, allegedly said. But the thing about it is, I'm like, what the hell are you bothering me about? And I saw that stuff in my phone, and then I saw it get erased because allegedly so-and-so wasn't sleeping well. And I'm like, are you out of your damn mind? You must be crazy. And, you know, had an argument with that person throughout most of the day. And the truth is because don't blame me for nothing. And even if I did do something like that, I'm an asshole anyway. Yeah. I mean, after all, considering counting now, I have 80 episodes showing that. I'm totally okay with it. Sure, I'm like a sober Tony Stark, only without money. So that's just the way it is. You know, and it just really is crazy to me, because everybody finger pointing at each other, which should stop, without thinking that they're judge, jury, and executioner. Now, you have control over who you invite into your life and who you deal with, but at the same time, though, check yourself, because you might be a giant asshole in the beginning anyway. You might be. And it might be your whole thing, because you are what you tolerated. So you might want to look at yourself before you look at anybody else, because guess what? We all stink the same too. But my hope for 2019 is that we become better people. That, you know, don't be afraid to go on a date. Don't be afraid to just watch that movie. And if that movie sucks, and if you're out $15 or whatever, hell, man, or woman, you'll get it in no time. I mean, it'll come right back to you. I mean, you work, right? I mean, after all, some of y'all get paid to even sit there and complain about anything you complain about. And there you go. It's just like how some people sat there and complained about Venom. Venom is supposed to be as corny and cheesy like that, but hell, we love them for it. And they captured the essence, right? Even without delving into the whole Spider-Man mythos too much. It was good. Same thing with Aquaman. People were sitting there trying to diss Aquaman all the time, but guess what? Just like when Wonder Woman came out, everybody was a Wonder Woman fan. Aquaman came out, well received, regardless what, and people became Aquaman fans. Yeah, all over the place they talk about how badass Aquaman is. Not bad for a man who could talk to fish, right? Oh man, it don't take much. But hey, that's just the way the market is. And I was going to mention those characters too, but you know, I didn't want to do it too much because that stuff is still pretty fresh, and I didn't want to be another superhero episode. That comes later. But yeah, Aquaman's been doing pretty fine. It renewed interest in the DCU, right? Along with the Titans show and everything else. I think DC is going to be pretty okay with its live action from now on if they just do the right thing. But I'm not going to talk about how you fix it, because at this point, everybody should already know. Oh, another thing that came out of here that was kind of, we can say, put this in WTF for 2018. The images of the Sonic movie. I think Sonic's design, at first I was like, But then I started really, really thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Design's not too bad, But why in the world does it look like he's just wearing regular shoes? Come on now, give him the iconic shoes. Don't mess the shoes up. And they kind of did a little bit. You know what I'm saying? He's got laces. Sonic never had laces. Just go ahead and it doesn't matter. Just go ahead and make the shoes look more like the shoes from the game. Like, I mean, he's got the build. He's built like a sprinter. I mean, as far as I know, it'll probably be a different design by the time they even get to, like, what? Regular production and then the post-production. So, you know, it might be a good movie. It might be. So I'm going to give it its due. I mean, like Detective Pikachu, a lot of people were like, hey, you know what? This is kind of weird to look at, but I'm going to go ahead and spend my money to go see that. You know what I'm saying? Now, it's not in the same core category as WTF, because at the same time, though, I mean, a lot of people, when they heard about these things being made into movies, they were like, there ain't no way they're going to make that stuff into movies. But yeah, turns out they are. I still have my eye on that Super Mario Brothers movie because, yeah, that's going to be a thing, and I'm wondering how that's going to turn out. So, who knows? Maybe they'll probably give Mario a personality. Who knows this time, right? So we'll see how that goes. And then there's supposed to be a Sly Cooper movie coming around, too. So, hey, this is just a year for that. Well, no, these are just the years for that, I mean. You know, that's just what happens when you... You know, when you're just making movies out of anything that you can make a movie out of. And then, of course, you know, we got a lot to look forward to in 2019 because all of those movies are just going to be awesome. Even the movies that suck. Like, you know, we could go into the new Godzilla movie and see that there's more face-to-face battles and stuff like that. And, of course, there's going to be something hackneyed about that. Probably remind you of Rampage, which I think, depending on who you talk to, Rampage was probably an underrated hit of 2018. I mean, it was. I mean, it's a Rock movie. You know what I mean? When you just march movies with The Rock, he's just fun to watch, you know? And then not to mention the way the Kaijus actually looked in that movie, it made me want to play the arcade game at the end. So I was like, hey, you know, why not? So I'm hoping that all the movies in 2019 are going to be enough for me to just sleep over at the theater, you know, just never go home and never go to the day job, but always do the stuff for you guys. So I can go ahead and get my fill. And I'll probably do more straight reviews instead of just, you know, a collaboration of too much. But all in all, 2018 was fun, but I'm hoping 2019 will be a big bright spot and help us get to where we need to be. And I don't see why it wouldn't be. Because, I mean, after all, how many times can you get by doing the same old tricks? And I mean dysfunctional tricks. After all, it's time to do better. It's time to just bring out the best in all of us. But then that's just the idealism keeping my cynicism at bay. Because I know there's some dumb jerk out there. Some dumb jerk out there that just wants to see the world burn. And of course, we are the ones that don't want to see this happen have to put a stop to them eventually. So that's just how that all goes. But I do want to thank all of you for actually making this a pretty good vehicle to run here, J360 Radio, for 2 years. 2 years running this. And I'm happy for that. And I hope, like the rest of the J360 productions, you'll find and enjoy and love too, because I'm bringing it all back. Know what I'm saying? Along with some video vlogs, along with some vocal messages here and there. I'm just working with so many things right now, but it's the motivation and it's going to be the disciplines that's just going to carry this company further, you know? And for those of you that, like I said before, if you want to collaborate, let me know, like, any and every Friday at 12 p.m. Like, send me an email, j360productions@outlook.com, or leave me a voicemail through the hotline, which is 240-903-1634. And let me know whatever show you want to be on, or just give a shout out, or whatever you need to do. Just keep it clean, alright? Because sometimes, you know, people can't handle the other stuff. We're not, you know, the reality of things people just can't handle. Even though I say we should end PC culture, still got a ways to go to fight it. So, we'll see where we go from there. Now, a lot of y'all probably don't even like the edited and the, you know, some of y'all want to be raw and uncut. Believe me, I'm working on something for that. Don't you worry. But until then, I want you all to enjoy your New Year's Eve parties. I want you all to have a good time. Don't be too drunk, and if you are too drunk, don't be on the road. You know, the standards, just be mindful of other people, especially if I'm on the road, because I don't have time for it. So I want you all to take care of yourselves and have a good 2019. Let's make it all happen. This is the J-Man signing off. Peace to you all.
Okay, round two. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry, we were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right, ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+ terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.